All right, everybody, welcome. We're going to do the abdominal muscles real quick on our 3 models again to keep the fun going. Let's do it. So we're going to use, oh, sassies, abdominal cavity fell, or abdominal muscles fell off. They're kind of hanging on there by a thin piece of thread. We'll say that. Okay, so let's take a peek-see some of these. So we're going to start with the back. And we're going to roll on over. I think that's okay with everybody. Is that all right? Is that all right, folks? Well, I hope so. That's what we're going to do. All right, so let's roll on over here. Roll on over. Roll. Okay, so that's the back of this beast. Let's start with one of my favorite names for a muscle, latissimus dorsi. Latissimus dorsi. Check that out. What a name. Oh, don't do this to me. There you go, focus. All right, so this big old sucker found right here. Big back muscle, all the way back there. Look at that territory. Woo, Lordy. If you think about it, dorsi, dorsal side, ooh, makes sense. Latissimus, I don't know. Sounds like it could be a country. So this is big enough to be a country. Boom. So it's latissimus on there. Well, I'm going to do each model individually, showing you the muscles for each one. So I'm not going to do one every time. Whatever. So next up, let's do the trapezius. It's like a trapezoid, a kite. And that's this big muscle right here. So note on this model, like the right side, this right side, has more muscles on it than the left side, which has less layering. So we got this one. And this one goes all the way up there. I can anyway. So yeah, trapezius. Big muscle, trap. Work them trips. All right, now the rhomboid. The rhomboid major. Sounds like a rhombus. And boom, this looks like a rhombus. And it's major. Why? Because it's major. Major rhombus. Major rhombus right there. And then we had the splenius. Splenius capitis is what it's known. I just kind of nicknamed it splenius. And that's this thing here. Splenius. Okay. All right, and that kind of sums up the back one for this one. So I'm going to turn it around, and we'll do the other back ones real quick for the other ones. Of this group, latissimus dorsi is definitely my favorite of the muscle names. It's great. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of a dolphin for some reason. I don't know why, but it does. So again, we got the trap, and this one's good on Sassy here because you can see the full kite effect of the trap. Look at that sucker. It goes way down there, mid-back. Impressive. Splenius is shown, but it's a little more covered up this time. So you get a feel for it, so it's like more right there. But remember, it goes all the way down there. But splenius. Rhomboid major, not shown, covered up. Latissimus dorsi, you know it's got some turf. Boom! Look at that. What? Latissimus dorsi, all over that place. All right. So that's it for the old sass, the sass master. All right, let's turn this one over. Hopefully its chest doesn't fall off. It's not like it's barely hanging on. If you hear a loud thud, it's not me falling out of the chair. It's this sucker falling apart. So let's see, a return to the Mac, the rhomboid major. All the way up there. Rhomboid major. All right. Splenius. Boom. Right there. Splenius. Latissimus dorsi. Again, look at that territory. Look at that coverage it's got. Jeez. So much coverage. And then the trap. All about that trap. Man, that's impressive. Just some big muscles along the back. Okay, that finishes up the back ones. Let's turn these suckers around. Let's go back to the big rascal. Let's do some more. Let's start with the pecs. Pec major. Pectoralis major. This muscle right here. Big muscle. Covers the entire front section here. So, pectoralis major. It's major because it's big. Here we go. I guess I can zoom in. All right. What about the minor? What about the pectoralis minor? Well, it's called minor because it's smaller. Boom. Pectoralis minor. A little small. Now, another one of my favorites, serratus anterior. It kind of reminds me of a serrated edge. It's like a knife that has a serrated edge. And so if you look over here on the side, this muscle here kind of has like a serrated look to it, huh? There's little edges in there. Boom, that's your name right there. Serratus anterior, anterior. It's on the anterior side. Boom. And then we have intercostals. So there's internal and external. I did not label them further, so I will point them out to you. This is more external to the body, therefore it's the external intercostal. This one's more internal, it's the internal intercostal. All right, that's our two for those. Okay, so there's those, and now let's look at the other ones. Well, one we're not going to see on this one because I have to take the chest apart and I don't feel like it. It might not go back together is really the correct answer. Rectus abdominis, this big muscle right there. Rectus abdominis. Boom! Powerhouse. Another powerhouse abdominal muscles. Compare this to some of the muscles we saw in the face, which was like much smaller territory. You're going to get one muscle, massive amounts of area. It's insane. What about the external oblique? Got to work them obliques. I don't have anything fun for this one, except it's external. I don't know. It's right there. Hooks up with the serratus anterior and joins up with the rectus abdominis. What about the internal oblique? Oh, great question. Internal oblique, boo, right there. Now you may think, how do I tell this apart? It looks the exact same. Well, this model here is showing you on the left, my left, not the model's left, but this left over here is more superficial, so it shows the more external layers to it, and then that layer has been cut away over here. So in this side, the external oblique is gone, all right, totally ripped off. Made in the jerky? Perhaps, I don't know. This leaves you with the internal oblique. Okay, now let's do that same thing with SAS. What's up, SAS? Let's do it. So this one is a little more limited too. So we have the pec major, of course. Boom, pec major. Boom, boom, boom. Pec major. All right. One of the best pec majors. If you want to see a good demonstration of that muscle, look up Terry Crews. Dude's jacked. And he's got some pec majors. Pec minor, not on there. Serratus anterior, you know we're got a serratus anterior. And let's roll the SAS on over. What's up? And then serratus anterior right there. See the serrated edge that has like teeth. Okay. Intercostals. We got to take the chest off to get there. I'm not quite ready for that. We are ready for the rectus abdominis. Boom, right there. Rectus abdominis. Okay? What about the external oblique? Got you covered. Now note, this one's different in that this outer layer is the same on both sides. It has not been peeled apart. So external oblique, external oblique. So to see the internal oblique, let's yank the chest up. Come on now, quit fighting. Oh, okay, I got it. Whew, it's tough. Challenge. It was a battle, but I did it for you. Transverse abdominis. It goes along the transverse side, right down here. So this sweeping muscle that goes underneath. All right, and then we have the internal oblique. This is the trickiest one to spot because it's right there. So see that along that line there, around 110? That's your internal oblique. So this allows you to see the full layering present. So this outermost layer is the external oblique, internal oblique, and then rectus or transverse abdominis. So you can see the full layering effect of these abdominal muscles. And so this is important because they help you. Well, that's your protection for your soft organs is right in there. Not much else. You want to wonder about this intercostals? I got you covered. Intercostal just means between the ribs. Kind of sounds between in the coast, but it's right in here, between these ribs. This one does not separate between external and internal, but these are the internal intercostals. So if it's a little blurry there, I don't know why that isn't correct, but it might be. Okay, that ends that up for SAS. Godzilla over here. Let's compare what he's got. So the rectus abdominis again. I guess if you want the pecs, you know, the six-pack or whatever, you go with these. Rectus abdominis, I mean, it looks pretty delineated to me. All right. Then we have the external oblique right there. The whole region on the other side of the rectus. Internal, this one's back to being half off, so internal, slightly lower layer. The intercostals, you know we got them. Right here is the external. Then on this side, in this groove right there, is the external. So this is the internal. This is the external right there. Internal, external, external, internal. What is that you think you see? The pec minor? Oh, you do. Good eye. That's the pec major. Whoop, that's the wrong handle. So I give for looking at the first word only. Pec minor. Boom, 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 boom. Pec minor. It's all right. Pec minor. Doing what you can do. Pec major. Boom. Big muscle right there. Pec major. Major pectoralis. It's a good name for a password or something. Serratus anterior. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, it collapsed, folks. I am not injured at the moment. Serratus anterior right here. So it's all right. We wanted that to happen. We wanted that to happen so we can see underneath. Now let's flip it over. Oh, it's heavy. So much muscle. Transverse abdominis, you say? Where's the transverse abdominis? Got you covered. Again, this innermost layer here, so you can kind of see where it starts. This whole area underneath. So all that. Transverse abdominis, even up there. Transverse abdominis. So much abdominis. Kind of sounds like a transformer or something. Abdominis. Sounds like Optimus. You know what Transformers are? They had a bunch of movies. I don't know if you have any other. I don't know if they had cartoons anymore. Alice made with them from the Beast Wars era. So I had an ape, gorilla, Optimus Prime. It was awesome. I even had a big manta ray transformer. It was cool. I wish I still had that thing. Anyway, so we have those. The transverse abdominis. We saw the rectus abdominis. Saw the so the pec major, pec minor. I think that's it for this one. So yeah, that's it for those muscles. Compared to the face, I mean, it covers a much larger territory. They can get kind of confusing because of the layering, right? The layering of these things is where it gets tricky. And so, as you can see, the layering is the hard part. So you got to remember which one is the most external, which one's the more internal. So you have external oblique. Then this next middle one is the internal oblique, and then the one that's innermost is the transverse abdominis. And then the rectus abdominis out here. So that's the hardest part for me, is remembering the layering and where they go. Like pec major, pec minor are easy because this one's big and this one's small. And then the intercostals, like, I mean, one's more internal, one's more external, right? That's not bad. And then on the back, the rhomboid is going to be more internal compared to this one, to the trap. So the rhomboid is underneath the trapezius. And so think about it in terms of you have these big sweeping muscles that cover the other muscles underneath it. So you get the latissimus dorsi big, the trapezius big, and then it covers up other smaller muscles. And so other ones, you do have to know other ones this week, but they're not on these models really well. So like the erector spinae, this is part of the spinal muscles. It's not really on here, so you know that from pictures in your book. There might be a couple other ones that are that way too, but that's the only I can remember off the top of my head. But there's the rhomboid, it'd be underneath this one. And then you can also, the splenius would also be underneath that as well. So a lot of layering in these muscles, and that's where it gets a little hairy. That's where it takes practice. So, yep, that's it. Hope you enjoyed. See you next week for arm muscles. What?